So a lot of my peers have been telling me that my drums have gotten insanely better over the past few months. And there's actually a reason for that. It's because I found out the secret on how to make West Coast drums, and I also found out how to apply that secret to all of my beats. Now, before we get into the video, I want to give you a disclaimer. This is how I like to make drums. It's not a definitive way to make drums, and it's by no means the only way to make drums. This is just what I like to do, and I'm sharing it with you in hopes that it will help you on your beat making journey. So with that being said, let's get into the video, brother. Now let's get into these secrets. And the first secret that we're going to be talking about, bro, is changing the grid on the piano roll. Now, I know a lot of producers make beats with the 1/2 step or the 1/3 step, but if you're just starting out and you're trying to understand the groove of West Coast drums, I'm gonna highly recommend that you go to the 1/4 beat. Very, very important that you're going on the beat one and not the step one, because they're completely different. Now, the reason why I'm gonna be telling a lot of people to go to 1/4 beat instead is because you have way less places to put sounds. So when you have less places to put down sounds, you have more restrictions, it's gonna be harder to mess up the bounce. You feel me? Let's lay down a couple things to show y'all that you can place down sounds almost anywhere on this grid and it'll actually sound good. Now I'm just gonna right click right here where it says 2, and we're gonna drag left just so we can highlight this whole bar right here. And I'm gonna hit Control B, 1, 2, 3. Now we have claps for 4 bars, brother. And I hit Control D to cancel out any highlights that we have. Now that we have the clap in here, let's throw down like a couple other basic drum sounds just so we can really get like a good feel of what we're doing. So I'll just throw down like a 2-step like this, and then we can just start throwing down some kicks. Now, here's the thing when it comes to utilizing the grid to its fullest potential. You can place stuff down right here, but the bounciest patterns that you're gonna get are gonna be focused on these 3 points right here. So if you want to make something bouncy, definitely focus on these ones right here. But with that being said, let's start throwing down some sound. It's almost like impossible to mess up. And now let's get into the more difficult part, which is adding percussions and sound effects. You can put stuff on the one right here, but especially in the case of sound effects, these 3 spots right here are going to yield you the best results. Oh, also, pro tip before we do get into anything, going right before the clap or right after the clap usually always sounds good. So if you pair up this little trick right here with also going right into the clap or right after the clap, it will yield you the best. It will yield. I've never even said the word yield before. Why am I saying that now? It will yield you the best results, for real. Sounds great, but we already have the kick there, so just so it doesn't get drowned in the kick, I'm gonna place it right here instead. And then, like, let's say you just wanted to add like one more, you could just throw another one right after. You know what I mean? Or you can even put it right here too. It's bouncy, you feel me? Now, if you even want to take it a step further and make it even more interesting, sounds that you use together to make a specific bounce, you can just replace out one of them and it'll make it more interesting off rip. Put it right there. Easy, bouncy. Now let's just lay down a couple more sounds. I have a laser right here. Remember just hitting one of those spots? See, sounds bouncy right there. That's actually hard. I really like that. And then if you really want to go crazy and just use it sparingly, you can also do rolls. So one that sounds usually pretty good is doing like a rim roll. So what we can do is we can take this and we can make it the length of the roll that we want to do, and then hit Alt U, or if you're on Mac, hit Option U, and then we can just mess around with this right here, this knob right here, and it'll change the dynamic of the roll that we're doing. See, that sounds great right there. And now let's just pretend that you just didn't understand any of that. One little trick that you can do to really get that bounce I was talking about with like these 3 spots is that you can take whatever sound you want to use, fill up the grid with it, and then just take out the ones that you don't need. So just play it and just do whatever sounds good to you. So watch. Low-key, that sounded kind of hard, but you feel me? Like we're trying to do something else. So we can take out one of them. Still low-key sounds hard, but let's just say you didn't like that. Take out that first one too. Let's say you didn't like that. Take out that one. And let's just say you didn't like any of those. Just start off again. Take off like maybe this one. You know what I mean? And then you could just keep on taking away or adding within these 4 notes right here to get whatever sound that you want. And I'm telling you right now, it's really hard to mess up. So now let's say that you mastered the 1/4 grid setting. What's the next secret to move on to? I'm glad you asked. So the next one, I actually don't know what it's called. I've done it a million times. I've heard it a million times. You've heard it a million times, but there's no actual name of it. I just be calling it like the 3 count, the 3 hit, the 3 whatever. And it's when you do this, you put a note on the first one, the last one, and then the third of the next bar. So it ends up sounding like this. Now, I know you're sitting there like, Infinite, how is that a secret? We've heard it all the time. We already know how to do it. Whatever. Here's the secret, bro. When I look at some of the bounciest, hardest drum patterns, this pattern right here is used in multiple different parts of the beat. Here's what I mean by that. We can take this open hat right here, put it right here, just so it's hitting on every 2 bars. And then we can copy this and paste it over into a stomp. But instead of having it hit on the same spot, you can move the position of it and it will almost always sound good. We're going to get rid of this one because we don't need these 2 layering. So if we listen to it, or you can even like sauce it up and just get rid of these ones right here and then just do this. Boom. So what I like to do is I like to just take that little 3 count right there and just experiment with putting it on different spots of the grid, or just even comboing it with other sounds. And here's what I mean by that. We can have the open hats right here on the 1 and the 3, and then we can just copy that. And then we can also just do that same pattern with the stomp, but we'll put it on the 2 and the 4. Now, here's a little pro tip. To really enhance these secrets, what you can do is you could take the normal thing that you're used to hearing and then make slight alterations to it. Instead of having the 3 count with the stomps hit like this, we can actually elongate it. So watch, I'm gonna highlight this real quick, and then you see this little transparent arrow. I'll zoom in so it's easier to see. This little transparent arrow, what you're gonna do is you're gonna hold down Alt so it locks to the grid, and then you're gonna click and drag it so it's twice the length. So watch. Boom. When we take this right here and we put it into the pattern now, it's going to sound really, really, really saucy. Now, like what I said, if you want to take a secret and enhance it, make slight alterations to what is already there and what you're used to hearing. So we can have the first one hit like this, and then we can do the other 3 count. Remember how I said like we can hit that little 3 count like this and then move it over here? We can just do that and watch, it's gonna sound saucy. Now we can take one of the tips that I said earlier and apply it again. So remember how earlier I said, oh, what you can do is you can take like the rim, and if you have 2 of them playing like this, you could take that second one, go to a different sound, and then put it right here. You feel me? You could do the same thing with like these stomps and open hats, bro. So watch, this is the one that we have already. And then we can add this one right here. We can either do this whole thing right here, just copy the whole thing, or we can take out the first 2, take out the last 2 on the first one. And now we have the stomp 5 playing for the first 2 notes, and then the stomp 3 hitting for the last 2. And it's going to sound really, what now? Say it with me. Saucy. Thank you. There we go. Those two secrets are the biggest things that are going to help you when it comes to making better drums for West Coast beats. Now, with that being said, I'm gonna show you some more common patterns that you tend to see in West Coast music, so you can take that and apply it to your own music. Now, the first combo that we're gonna go over that a lot of people use is the stomp DJ scratch combo. Now, to do this, you can just pick any stomp that you really like. One of my favorite is the Stomp 5 out of the Infinite's 2024 Essential Drum Kit, and you can just put it on this note right here. So when it goes, it'll hit like this. That by itself is already a great pattern that's used a lot that you can also use in your beats. But to combo it, we can take the DJ scratch, and what people will do is they will either put it on every other note, or what they'll do is that they'll take out the first one. So it goes stomp, DJ scratch, stomp, DJ scratch. Now, what a lot of people do is like what we said earlier is that little 3 count. But what you can do is you can take these and just change the pattern of them. So you can just get rid of that second one right there. We just take that, put it over here. All these sounds are in the Infinite Essentials drum kit, by the way. So if you do like the sounds you're hearing, go get the kit. I have a free version that has, I think, 100 sounds in it. And then the full version, which has just a bunch of sounds, just tons and tons and tons of sounds. You feel me? Synth basses, rims, snaps, everything that you need. I also got vocals in here. It's a really stacked kit. It's a great drum kit. It's the one that I basically use for all of my beats now. But with that being said, let's go back to what I was saying with the stomp. We can do boom, 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 do the elongated one. So let's say you want to change it up a little bit. You feel me? Here's another common pattern that you could do. And then this one right here will be the third cell on the third beat. Sorry, the terminology is kind of weird sometimes. And then the second cell on the fourth beat right there. And then, like, bro, to be honest, we can hit another one like this right over here. Now, another thing that you'll commonly see is just the double rim shot, and they'll do that for a lot of sounds. And then sometimes they'll mess with the velocity, mess with the panning just to make it more interesting, and just do stuff like this. You know what I mean? And last but not least, certainly not least, one of the most common patterns that you will see in modern West Coast music is the laser roll. What you're gonna do is you're gonna stay on that 1/4 beat. Keep in mind, we have not changed the grid this whole time. We've only been messing with the 1/4 grid. You just do boom, 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 and boom. You just do one on every single cell. You know what? There's something I forgot to mention this whole time that you've probably been sitting there thinking about. It's like, Infinite, how do you do the hi-hats? We didn't talk about hi-hats this whole time. All right, so hi-hats, it's the same thing, bro. Like, it's the same thing that you would think of with all the percussion sounds. So you could just hit that 1/4 grid, and then you could just start placing in stuff that you really like. You know what I mean? Or what you can do is, which I've seen a lot of people do, is that you can just draw in a pattern like this, and then you can just delete the ones that you don't want. Taupe, Mr. Taupe Got the Dope, the one that has made a lot of the hit songs for Lil Russell, he does his hi-hats like this. So you can just start off like this, take off a couple. I mean, that sounds great right there. And then if you really want to sauce it up, what you can do is you can add rolls too. Highlight it and hit Alt U or Option U if you're on Mac, and then just mess with this knob right here. That sounds great right there, actually. You know what? Let's try to do something different. So we can just take this, hit that Alt U again, go right here, and then we can right click and drag it down to have a evenly fading velocity. There you go. You just sauced up your hi-hat. So yeah, you can either do that like little step, or you could just play some one by one and just really just get what you feel like sounds good. You know what I mean? And as you can see, I'm doing like a little bit more unconventional pattern too. See, this one, it sounds okay and we can make it work, but just how we have all the other patterns in here, it would just be better if we put it somewhere else. And don't be afraid to layer it with the percussion sounds too. Pro tip, pro tip, pro tip. So what you can do is you can take your hi-hat pattern that you already have for, let's say 2 bars right here, copy it over, and then just make it a little bit different on the other hand. So like, let's say we got this big space right here. We can just add a couple more and then maybe take out one of these, take out these, and then now we have a full-fledged hi-hat pattern, which is going to sound cohesive because we copied over a lot of the same notes, but it's not going to sound repetitive because we changed it up. Sounds great. One last pro tip before I get out of here. The West Coast producers will layer their kicks with any and everything. So to be honest, what we can do is we can just take the open hat, copy it over to the kick, and then we can take those stomps that we had, copy it, add it over to the kick, get the other stomp, bring it over here to the kick, brother, or 808, whatever you're using. I think I messed up, but that sounds low-key hard. But you get what I'm saying. You just want to layer those kicks with like the open hats and the stomps and everything like that. So it can just be like. And boom, that's where you put the kicks, and then you can add or take away as you see fit, but it gives you like a great starting point. Sometimes, to be honest, I'll just leave the kicks like that, leave the 808s like that, whatever the open hat stomp combo was, go for it, brother. And with that being said, those are my West Coast secret to drums. Those are the things that I ended up realizing that took my drums from here to here. And to be honest, the proof is in the pudding. Y'all know what the deal is, bro. That's what I be doing, and that's like the mentality and the knowledge that I be putting down into these beats, you feel me? So with that being said, if you did find value in this video and you found it helpful, go check out Gatekeep Sounds. Go get a free kit, go get a paid kit, just support in any type of way that you can, you feel me? So with that being said, my name's Devin. I also go by Infinite or Powered by Infinite, and if you like the video, hit the like. Want to comment, though, comment. If you want to sub, hit the sub, and peace out, brother. Pew.